camera gear, filming tips, editing tricks like lockdown stabilization and speed ramping. Follow my process start to finish, so by the end of this video you can create your own car reels, or should I say kart reels. If you want to follow the editing process yourself, I'll put a free download link of the car footage in the description box below. The protagonist in any storyteller's hand, the camera body. I use the A7 III, shoots in HD resolution at 60 frames per second. Perfect for these epic slow motion shots. Let's talk glass. And no, I'm not referring to your car windows. The eye of your camera. The lens. For this reel I will use a fixed 50mm Sony lens, perfect for beginners. Later on you can explore zoom lenses for more creative options, but for now let's keep it simple. But wait, there's more. Every car videographer's trusty sidekick, responsible for smooth and epic footage. You guessed it. The gimbal. I use the Ronin S, which I picked up from the used market. I would advise you to start with an entry-level gimbal, as there is a lot to learn for settings and movements. You might want to look into the DJI Ronin series or the Zion Weeble series. As you are shooting in vertical mode, check a camera cage to make this possible. I use this one. The following accessories provide us some additional video power. I always have two of them in my camera bag. We are talking about filters. The first one is an adjustable ND filter to get the perfect lighting exposure no matter the weather type. Screw it onto your lens and you can block some light coming into your lens. I'm using the Hoya variable ND filter. Second one is a CPL filter, the circular polarizer. This filter reduces unwanted reflections, giving you a cooler looking color of the car's paint. You're also able to look through the windows of the car, seeing part of the interior. I'm using the Hoya circular polarizer. For the camera settings, I shoot in 60 frames per second, so I can slow down my footage later. According to the standards of the film industry, your shutter speed should be double frame rate. So at 60 frames per second, our shutter speed is set at 1/120. This mimics motion blur as the human eye experiences in real life. Okay, we're about to hit the streets to go filming, but preparation is key to success. Before even going out there, it's important to have the shots in mind that we want to create. If you need some inspiration, scroll through your Instagram feed and save the video for later. Just keep it simple as a beginner. If you don't keep it simple, you will get overwhelmed when you start shooting the car. On top of that, you will have way too much footage and you won't know where to start once you're in the editing room. As for the music, you can already choose a song for your edit. Most of the time, I just screen record a trendy song from Instagram and I save it for later. Time to hit the streets. As for balancing the gimbal, there are many good tutorials out there. I'll link some of them in the description. In the beginning it's kind of weird, but practice makes perfect. It's important to choose a good spot to film the car. By far the easiest shots to make as a beginner are the stationary shots, meaning you stand or sit still without moving your feet. Position your feet wide from each other and only move with your upper body and arms. This will give you the most stable footage. If you want to make moving shots, it's important to walk slow and steady, from tip to toe. This is called the ninja walk. While doing this, it's important to keep the focus point that you are filming in the middle of your frame. If you walk like an elephant, your footage will look something like this. If you want these super lockdown stabilized shots, I will show you later in the editing room how to get that. It's pretty easy. Here are two bonus tips. Tip 1. If you take a certain shot, you take the same shot but in reverse. Oftentimes the reverse shot looks better and smoother and you can reverse it easily in addition. Tip 2. Always take your shots a few seconds longer, both going in and going out. So if you think you are ready, just continue a few seconds longer. Nothing is more frustrating than missing that last piece of smooth shots that you desperately need while editing later. Now let's go to the editing room. Stick around because this is where the magic actually happens. I'll be using DaVinci Resolve. It's a free editing program. I'll put a download link in the description box below. So once you have opened DaVinci Resolve, you can go to your project settings. Use vertical resolution, check this one, as we'll be making vertical clips. I put my timeline in 24 frames per second, although you can also choose for 30 frames per second for Instagram. Then you drop your clips, don't change the frame rate. So now the frame rate will be 24 as our timeline. Drop all the clips onto your timeline. You can make your timeline bigger and smaller by dragging right here. I'm going to select all my clips right now. Go to the Inspector tab. Then I'm going to put here 90 degrees and I'm gonna zoom out a little bit so all my clips are now vertical mode. There we go. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to start in the beginning. If you select this razor blade, you can cut your clips into several parts. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose the best parts out of all my clips, and I'm going to put the parts that I will use for my edit onto the second video layer, and I'm gonna do that throughout my whole timeline. Now that I have done this, I will select all the bottom clips together with the sound, and I can delete them. Now I will select what is left for my edit. I will put them right here and I will delete gaps. That will give us something like this. Now I'm going to reorganize them the way I want them to be in the edit. If this magnet icon is selected, when you drag the clips next to each other, they will stick nicely to each other. Then we can drop our earlier recorded music file onto our timeline. If the chain icon is deselected, we can select only the video part. We can delete it, so the music is left. You might have to adjust the length a little bit. Then we are left with our music and our video clips just like this. You might want to adjust the length of your clips here. And I'm going to cut where I want to end this first clip right here. Then I'm going to drag the second clip next to it. I'm also going to cut the end part here of the second clip. Now we are going to make the locked on stabilization effect. You tap this wand here to go to the Fusion tab, right click and choose planar tracker option. Then you make a rough drawing over the object where you want the stabilization effect to be. Make sure the yellow and red line are dragged all the way to the beginning and press set. Choose for tracker hybrid and choose for motion type translation. Then press this button to track all the way through the process. Then go to operation mode and choose stabilize. If you don't see any changes, make sure this button is selected. Then your footage will look something like this. It will have some black bars at the side, but that's completely normal. We can get rid of them by just zooming. I'm going to shorten the clip a little bit, and we can get rid of these black bars by zooming in a little bit. There we go. Now we are going to make a speed ramp. We right click on the video clip and we choose retime curve and retime controls. Go to where you want the speed ramp to end, right click the video and press add speed point. If you drag this button, you can change the speed of the clip. Drag right here to make the speed curve visible if necessary. Then you can press this button and then this one to smoothen out the curve. You can even adjust it by dragging this button right here. And if you want to adjust it more, feel free to do so like this. Now I want to match where the beat drops together with where the speed ramp ends. I am going to adjust the position of the second clip just a little bit. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. I'm going to pause the clip on the beat. I'm gonna change the speed of this part to 100%, and I'm going to adjust the ending part of this clip. And I'm going to connect the third one to the second clip. For this clip I'm going to change the speed to 40%. We shot at 60 frames per second, and 40% of 60 frames per second is 24 frames per second, which is our timeline frame rate. So that's perfect. We adjust the length of the clip if necessary, and we continue to the next clip. Let's see where we want to begin the clip, and then we shorten it. That looks good. We shorten the end. We're going to change the speed to 40%. It looks good. Let's stabilize a little bit by pressing stabilize. It's fairly easy. And then we are going to do that with all the clips we have. You can change the speed, you can change the stabilization as you please. And that will leave us with something like this. Okay, now we can spice things up a little bit more with using keyframes. You select the clip, go to the first frame and press a keyframe. Then you go to the last frame and you press another keyframe, just like you see here, pressing this button. We go to the last part. We can rotate a little bit by dragging right here, and we zoom in a little bit to erase the black borders. There you go, that gives us like this twist effect, twist zoom effect, and we can repeat this same effect with other clips. So we rotate a little bit and zoom a little bit if necessary. You can do that in your first frame, and you can do it in the last frame. Just see what you like or what you prefer the most. Just make sure if you rotate and zoom that the frame is selected where the keyframe is put. You can see that if this diamond is red. Now I'm going to make this effect for all the clips that I want. I'm just gonna repeat the same process actually. Just see what you like the most. Okay, once we are finished, that will give us something like this. Now to finalize, to spice things up a little bit more, we are going to add a LUT. That's super easy to apply. You just go to effects, you put an adjustment clip, you drag the adjustment clip on top, and you change the length throughout the whole edit. Then we are going to the color tab by tapping the color wheel right here. Right click here, go to LUT, film looks, and choose one of the bottom 3 codec LUTs. Another way to do it is by tapping the LUTs section right here, going to film looks. And then if you hover over one of the LUTs, you can see the changes it will make. Then you can drag and drop the LUT over the clip. We are going to decrease the strength of the LUT by clicking right here, and then key output, drag it to around 20%, 30%, whatever you like. Then it will be something like this. If you want to learn this epic car effect on mobile phone, make sure to click this video. See you in the next one.